You're watching Camnet News. My name is Sharon Kalimbola. The top stories on our desk. Police constable disputes human rights report over the killing of 2 Zambians. Government assures transparency in the ongoing police recruitment. Agriculture Union urges government to lift the maize ban in view of a projected bumper harvest. In international news, CONGO-BRAZZAVILLE's ex-rebel chief calls for peaceful and transparent elections. And in sports news, NAPSA stars opponents JS jet in ahead of Wednesday's clash. Let's take a breather. Join me shortly for the details.
Zambia, your time of spiritual revival and awakening is now. Once again, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chilua invites the nation of Zambia to a 2-day conference on the order of Melchizedek with Dr. Francis Miles. Venue, the Healing Word Ministries International in Ibex Hill. Dates, 19th and 20th of March 2021. Saturday, 14 hours to 18 hours. Sunday, 09 hours to 12 hours. Make a date with us.
Thank you for joining us. Crushers and Edible Oils Association of Zambia says the prices of edible oils such as cooking oil, peanut butter, margarine, among others, will continue to escalate owing to the continued depreciation of the kwacha. Association Director Mainonge Chibombo says this is so because most oils are imported as the country does not produce enough oilseed to meet the national demand. Zambians have continued to complain over the skyrocketing of prices of cooking oil, resulting in the increase of prices of fritters. Currently, the Zambian kwacha is drastically lost value to the United States dollars, trading at over 22 kwacha to $1. Details in this.
The prices of edible oils in the country have been escalating, and one wonders why this has been the case, considering that Zambia is an agriculture-oriented country engaged in the production of soya beans and sunflower, both used for the production of edible oils. An interview with the Crushers and Edible Oil Association of Zambia has, however, indicated that the country is far from producing its own oilseed to meet the national demand of about 200,000 metric tons of refined cooking oil every year.
The exchange rate was about like 13 to 1. Now it's 22. And then secondly, the price of crude palm oil and most crude edible oils landed price was probably around about $840 a ton. We have to import a lot of crude edible oils because as a country right now we do not produce enough oil seeds to meet the national demand. Okay, now the price of the crude edible oils landed price has increased from about $840 a ton to about $1,200 a ton. So when you combine the exchange rate movement together with the increase in crude edible oil prices, what you will find is that the price has gone up by about 89%.
Mr. Chibomba also says over 2 billion kwacha can be pumped into the economy if small-scale farmers are empowered to engage in the production of oilseeds, which will add to the sustainable developmental goals of ending poverty in the country.
Now, this is an opportunity for us to harvest because in our calculation, if we manage to say to produce 800,000 metric tons of soybeans, this would maximize the current existing capacity of crushing plants and refineries, right? Okay, that we currently have. Yeah. At the same time as doing that, if the small-scale farmers are the ones who are meeting this shortfall, it will mean that we're adding about 2.2 billion kwacha per year into the rural economies. And that is bigger than the FISIP budget right now. So it's a huge opportunity for us to harvest. And it's clearly one of the lowest hanging fruits for us to realize some of the objectives of the 7th National Development Plan.
Mr. Chibomba has since called on government to come up with the better policies that will see farmers increase the production of soya beans.
Now, the last year's crop was about 250,000 tons of soybeans, and soybeans contains about 20% oil, meaning that if we crushed all the soybeans that we produce, we would only be able to get about 50,000 tons of crude soybean oil, which when we further refine, we'll probably only get about like maybe 45,000 tons of refined soybean oil, which will then be packed and put into the shops. The national demand for edible oil is about like 200,000 tons of refined edible oil per year. So you begin to see that we've got like a shortfall of about like 155,000 tons. We look at it as an opportunity for us as the industry to work together with government and also to work with the farmers to see how we can harvest this opportunity for the benefit of everyone.
Edible oils serve as an important source of energy, essential polysaturated fatty acids, and fat-soluble vitamins with great nutrition and health benefit. Zambia would create more jobs and pump more money in the economy if the production of oilseed increased in the country.
An energy expert, Johnston Chikwanda, has advised the youth to take advantage of the empowerment policy put up by government in the energy sector. Mr. Chikwanda says the sector has been calling on government to create a platform on which sustainable youth partnership will be reality, adding that youths have been facing challenges resulting from the country's economic recession. He notes that government has empowered youth cooperative in the country with 50 fuel transportation tankers, a situation he commended. Mr. Chikwanda is hopeful that once this is well harnessed, it will lead to poverty reduction, boost more economic empowerment, and entrench youth participation in the sector for the benefit of the nation at large. Mr. Chikwanda has, in this regard, stressed on the need for youths to join the Transporter Association so that they can get mentorship and learn the industry's best practices for their own benefit.
In the commemoration of Youth Day for this year, we saw the President of the Republic of Zambia hand over 50 fuel tankers to youth cooperative groups. This is something that is unprecedented. This is something that has never happened before in the history of this country, let alone in the history of the energy sector. We are expecting that this is going to significantly shift the youth to another level of empowerment, and we are of the view that the youths are going to be integrated in the transportation sector for fuel in this country, which is worth $200 million. That is how much Zambia spends on the transportation of fuel, $200 million. So we are hoping that through this empowerment, the youth cooperative groups, they are going to get a slice of this bill which goes to transportation of fuel for this country. Generally, investing in the oil industry requires significant amounts of money, which is far beyond the means and the latitude of most of our people, let alone the youths. Therefore, without this affirmative action from government, it is virtually impossible to see the youth participate in the mainstream activities of the oil industry. This is why it is commendable, and we are hoping that they will seize this opportunity, rise to the occasion, demonstrate responsibility, and show that they can be trusted, so that other remaining youths also can benefit from similar empowerment efforts.
The Agriculture Technical Professional Staff Union of Zambia says in view of the anticipated bumper harvest, the Ministry of Agriculture must consider lifting the ban imposed on the importation of grain. Union Secretary General Joka Mutomwa says the Ministry of Agriculture should allow the exportation of finished products such as mealie meal in order to steer job creation. Mr. Kamutomwa, however, recommends that the importation should only be done once the local market is satisfied. Maize and mealie meal products are high-demand products in neighboring countries such as the Democratic Republic of Congo and Zimbabwe, which he says Zambia should take advantage of.
Signs are very positive that we will have bumper crop again this year. So if that is what will happen, once the indicators, the preliminary data start coming out from the field that we have a bumper crop, as an agricultural union, we can request our ministry to lift the ban so that they can, other players also can start benefiting. However, what we encourage ourselves is don't take to Congo the raw maize. take to Congo a finished product in form of mini meal, maize bran, and so on, feed, and so on, to encourage production, manufacturing sector, to add value to whatever we are producing in the agricultural, sector. So that maize ban, at that point, which will be not too far from now, in our view, can be lifted, because one would have known, we know that FRA has stocked enough or procured enough, although they've not, maybe we've not had the latest figures that they have in stock, but from the projection of the crop forecasting that will come out, if the indicators are positive that we have a bumper crop this year, then in the next 1 month or so, government can lift the ban and allow export. So satisfy the local market, that's what our core is. We must be patriotic. Look after the Zambians. Feed the Zambians. They will not come and borrow, they will come and buy. We know the margins are not high, but make them live. Thereafter, export. And that's what we are saying. So we are for export as well.
A junior Zambia police officer with only 10 years of service has disputed the contents of a report released by the Human Rights Commission, which held the Zambia police responsible for the killing of a state prosecutor, Sam Chipioka, and Joseph Kaunda, a United Party for National Development member, on the 23rd of December 2020. According to the Human Rights Report issued on the 5th of March 2021, it established that the police officers who were stationed near Cabinet Office were the ones responsible for firing of a fatal bullet that killed both Mr. Chipioka and Kaunda after getting orders from former Lusaka Province Police Commissioner Nelson Piri. But speaking in court during trial of the 11 opposition UPND members who were arrested on the fatal day, Officer Edward Chiboye refuted the allegations, stating that the UPND members who escorted their leader, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, to the police for questioning were acting in a disorderly manner. The Human Rights final report exonerated the UPND members, saying they were peaceful and police used excessive force to disperse them. As a result, 2 lives were lost. Miriam filed this report.
The 11 suspected United Party cadres made their appearance before the Lusaka's Magistrate Court Monday morning in a case they have been accused of conducting themselves in an idle and disorderly manner during the time they went to offer their solidarity to their party leader Hakainde Hichilema. When the matter came up for trial, the state called one witness, Mr. Edward Chiboye, a police officer who testified that on the material day, the 23rd of December 2020, they were informed through a police radio that some suspected UPND cadres had blocked the High Court roundabout. Officer Chibuye, in his testimony, said the accused were chanting slogans and blocked part of the road, which left motorists have difficulties using the same road. This is in a case where the 11 suspected UPND cadres are alleged to have on the 23rd of December last year, whilst acting together with others at a public place, namely Independence Avenue, conducted themselves in a manner that is likely to cause breach of the peace. As testimony continued, the witness testified that the accused persons conducted themselves in a disorderly manner, which led officers to apprehend them. However, during cross-examination, when questioned if he was aware that the Human Rights Commission report revealed that officers were the ones that caused the confusion at Force Headquarters and not the people who went to offer their solidarity, Officer Chibuye disputed the content of the report. According to the Human Rights Report issued on the 5th of March 2021, it established that police officers who were stationed near Cabinet Office are the ones responsible for firing the fatal bullet that killed both a state prosecutor, Mr. Chipioka, and a UPND member, Mr. Kaunda, after getting orders from former Lusaka Province Police Commissioner Nelson Piri. In his cross-examination, Officer Chibuye also testified that apart from his own statement, he had no evidence before court to prove that the 11 suspected cadres conducted themselves in such a manner. The witness also told the court that he did not investigate the case, but apprehended the suspects. The magistrate presiding over the case, Albert Mwaba, adjourned the case to the 19th of April 2021 for continued trial. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Still in court news, the Lusaka Magistrate Court has found an officer of the court and a businessman with a case to answer in a case they are accused of allegedly putting up a 3-month-old baby for adoption and lied to its parents that the toddler had died. This is in a case in which Musenge Mumba, 30, a juvenile officer, and Lawrence Mulea, 35, a businessman, are charged with kidnapping, giving false information to the public officer, and making a false document. Miriam Kaimba once again brought us this report.
The four were accused of illegally putting up a 3-month-old baby for adoption and lied to its parent that the toddler had died. This is in a case Musinga Mumba, a juvenile officer, and 3 others were charged with kidnapping, giving false information to a public officer, and making a false document. Other accused persons are Lawrence Mulea, a businessman, Gertrude Sichona, an assistant social worker, and House of Moses director, Desi Musukwa. However, when the matter came up for ruling on case or no case to answer Monday morning, Chief Resident Magistrate Lamek Mwale acquitted Gertrude Sichona, an assistant social worker, and House of Moses director, Desi Musukwa, on account that there was no sufficient evidence against them. The court, however, found the juvenile officer, Musenge Mumba, and the businessman, Lawrence Mulea, with a case to answer, as the state had established enough evidence to put them on their defense. But they were acquitted in one count of making a false document. This case dates back to the year 2019, with several witnesses that had already testified, among them the mother to the child. During trial, the court heard how the four had connived and planned to put up the child for adoption without the knowledge of the parents. The witness had testified that the victim, who was put at a charity home on account of his mother's failure to fend for him, was adopted and taken to the United States of America in 2007. Gift Chilufya, the 3-month-old baby, together with his siblings aged 13 and 7, were left at House of Moses Orphanage in Lusaka by their mother, Mercy Mungoti, after she separated with her husband, Brian Mungoti, in 2007, as she could not manage to take care of them. However, in 2010, the husband, Mr. Mungoti, went to collect the children, but was only given 2 of them and told that the youngest had died and was buried. The orphanage also encouraged him to divorce his wife, as she was irresponsible for dumping the children. In a turn of events, the older children revealed that their baby brother did not die in 2007 as alleged, but he was adopted by a white couple in America, and a farewell party was held at the same orphanage. Investigations also revealed that Gift, now aged 14, is alive in the United States of America with the said white couple. The matter has since been adjourned to the 19th of March 2021 for defense. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
We will continue tracking that story until it reaches its logical conclusion. In other news, government says all application forms from prospective Zambia police officers submitted to the Ministry of Home Affairs and the Zambia Police Headquarters will not be considered. Updating the nation on the ongoing recruitment process, Home Affairs Minister Stephen Kampyongo says the police service recruitment has been decentralized in provinces aimed at increasing transparency and accountability. The minister has also noted with concern over the growing mistrust in the police service, hence decentralizing the process, which he says will be done on merit. Mr. Kampyongo further acknowledged that the 1,200 targeted number of police recruits is small, but that's what the Treasury could afford. The minister has meanwhile mentioned that the recruitment will be gender sensitive, adding that the police command is alive to the gender protocols and inclusive enough without leaving anyone behind.
We are guided by the policies that speak to gender equality, and therefore the police command is alive to those requirements, and they will ensure at both layers we ensure that the gender balance is taken into consideration. But more importantly, this process will ensure inclusiveness. We have been saying the president has who is Commander-in-Chief, has always encouraged that in all the government programs that we undertake, no one should be left behind. So whether a rural school leaver or an urban school leaver must be given equal opportunities. That's the reason why we would want to see each district at the province level being represented. And again, it's not about the numbers, but it's important that we work with what the Treasury can provide for. And this will also see the beefing up of numbers for the Zambia police, which numbers are quite low.
The Civil Society Scaling Up Nutrition Alliance, CSO SUN, is happy that government has released up to 1 million kwacha towards the relocation of households affected by floods in Chawama and Kanyama constituencies of Lusaka district, where over 2,000 households have been affected by floods. Organization Country Coordinator Matthews Moore says the provision of the much-needed relief assistance through the distribution of essential relief items is critical to ensuring that most vulnerable families can meet their basic needs. Mr. Moore notes that more rains are expected in the country and that the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit should heighten surveillance to ensure that people in flood-prone areas such as Gwembe and Lunga districts are attended to promptly.
As the Civil Society Scaling Up Nutrition Alliance, we would like to commend government to the Disaster Management Unit for responding to the flood situation in the country, with the latest being Chawama and Kanyama, where over 2,000 households were affected by floods. So the support in terms of relief food, safe water, as well as other hygiene materials will go a long way, as this would also prevent waterborne diseases in those areas and the people who are affected by these floods. I would want to make an appeal to government and to the Disaster Management Unit to respond to Chief Mpepo's request for support for people who are living within his chiefdom along the Chambeshi River who have been affected by floods. So this response is much needed so that we also prevent challenges that come when people have been affected by floods. Just seeing that floods have become a perennial problem that Zambia gets to experience year in, year out, that has been affecting food production and just normal livelihood of the people. It is known that the floods are actually as a result of climate shocks, which we expect government to come up with sustainable solutions to really deal with such kind of climate shocks. So just sorting out the drainage system alone would not prevent future floods from happening. We need to have a very strong climate response that would prevent floods in the future.
Traditional leaders condemned for taking a partisan stance. This and more after the break.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
And why do you look so pale and busy scratching yourself?
Well, Amwandi, you know my skin is very sensitive. I've tried all the skin products and nothing seems to work.
Have you tried Oracle Pure Glycerin?
Oracle Pure Glycerin? What's that?
Just give me a minute.
Oracle Pure Glycerin gives your skin a youthful and healthy glow.
Ish, you're glowing. Don't tell me.
Yes!
I'm
already know the secrets.
Oracle Pure Glycerin.
Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for that perfect skin.
Can I have that meal over there? And I really want that crisp, fresh apple taste from the garden. Can I have happy apple?
I think I'll have my big bite 2 meal with happy waziwaka. Give us your
Enjoy an appetizing big bite meal with an happy drink of your choice. A meal is not a meal without an happy drink. And now introducing Happy in a can.
Zambia, your time of spiritual revival and awakening is now. Once again, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chilua invites the nation of Zambia to a 2-day conference on the order of Melchizedek with Dr. Francis Miles. Venue, the Healing Word Ministries International in Ibex Hill. Dates, 19th and 20th of March 2021. Saturday 14 hours to 18 hours. Sunday 09 hours to 12 hours. Make a date with us.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying on. United Party for National Development, UPND President Hakainde Hichilema has condemned the growing trend of endorsing political leaders by some chiefs in the country. Mr. Hichilema says all traditional leaders endorsing specific candidates are doing so in their own personal capacities, but should not persuade their subjects to follow suit. Mr. Hichilema has since urged traditional leaders to remain impartial in order to avoid dividing their subjects based on political inclination. Patrick Soko filed this report.
In the Zambian political calendar, prior to the general elections, the story of traditional leaders endorsing certain candidates always resurfaces, and this year is no exception. However, just like the media and the church, chiefs are expected to be non-partisan to avoid dividing their subjects who may have different political affiliation. President Edgar Lungu has been endorsed by a number of traditional leaders in the country in the build-up to the August 12 general elections.
Through PF government, so if you can find Ngalanda, if you want to go there, kuma empowerment in Mlelanda, not to water, Vanavanshua, Pamukam Fidwa, about the empowerment Valapoka. I'm with empowerment, we look in another quarter, in this September, we take over it to it. So, Kurango, Nipi, Fukuangara, if you vote, to Jifava to Gasson, Kabylie, we can't wali.
These incidents have continued to be witnessed, and the latest one is that where the traditional leadership has endorsed the candidature of Petauke Central Member of Parliament, Dola Selia.
Neo nchito yangu orolomba nukita sapoti a MP a Honorable Dola Selia panchito yao yabwino yakita chitukuko emu abantu muri muntu musasokonezeke yali muno Petauke ni wakuti Dola Selia a MP wasu ne mukondwela nao nkako na mwe mukondwele nao chifukwa Africa pa national leadership.
But United Party for National Development leader Hakainde Hichilema has advised traditional leaders against influencing their subjects to support their preferred candidates.
As individual citizens, they are free to vote the way they wish. But as an institution, they need to know that in their chiefdom, including in their palaces, there are a lot of people who support different parties. And it's important that individuals in the chiefdom and in the palace are allowed to make their own decisions. When individuals make their own decisions, they will vote for change. There's no doubt about it. Because they are hungry. Their children are not in school. There are no jobs. There are no businesses. Other than the few that are flouting cash, there are no businesses. So they too want change. Even some who may be talking openly, in the night, they will tell you that
Traditional leaders have an important role to play in the electoral process, including peace building and fostering national peace and unity. Hence, it is obvious that they need to welcome everyone. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
The Golden Party of Zambia President Jackson Silabwe says the Electoral Commission of Zambia standard nomination fees pegged at $95,000 for presidential aspirants, $15,000 for members of parliament, and $1,500 for councillors are still not affordable for many citizens. Mr. Silabwe says the electoral body is inconsiderate to the majority of poor, youths, women and persons with disability who have been historically disadvantaged financially in society. The party has since once again made an earnest appeal to the Electoral Commission of Zambia to revise the nomination fees downwards, close to what stakeholders submitted at the last consultative meeting held at ECZ.
The bread basket for the basic needs, or the basket for the basic needs, the cost of living for a family of 5 is over 7,000 kwacha in Zambia as of December. How many families in the country right now can afford that per month? It's inconceivable that we are living in a country where historically women, the youth, and the disabled have been historically disadvantaged in terms of finances. Then we put the nomination fee at 95,000 kwacha, standard that is 95,000 kwacha for presidential candidates, 15,000 kwacha for members of parliament, and 1,500 kwacha for councillors in cities. It is extremely inconceivable. One of the tenets of democracy is participation. The people need to participate in the democratic processes of the country. It should not be so that we only relegate the poor people only to voting. No, that is not democracy. That is not democracy. That is a system that cannot work in Zambia. People must be able to participate in a democracy by voting and also participate as candidates in an election, fellow countrymen and women. What the ECZ has done is not right.
The ruling Patriotic Front in Southern Province has called on women across the country to fight for political rights and be able to contest in their desired positions in the 2021 general elections. PF Southern Province Women Affairs Chairperson Bernadette Hamwemba explains that women should take interest to be in political positions both at high and grassroots level. Ms. Hamwemba believes that women are compassionate in nature who always wants to see development in different areas of society. She has reiterated her call for the landslide and victory for President Edgar Lungu in the August 2021 elections. Meanwhile, Southern Province Socialist Party spokesperson Masauso Lulanga says women political rights remain top of priority in his region.
I would like to encourage the women in the province not to shy away from contesting any position they can, especially at local government level. You know, a lot of us women, we always want to vie for bigger positions, forgetting that the party is at the ground. The people are the ones that we have to work for. We have to work for the community. The community is local government. So the best thing is always to start with the local government, then we go up, and there's always one person to be MP and mayor. So the most important, the work is always at the grassroots. So it's very important to work with the grassroots.
Making it easier for them so that they can be able to have to have an opportunity to participate in decision making and also get involved in politics. These others, they just talk and they don't want to implement things easily for them. They are not making it easier for the other, gender. So we do believe some people are thinking that maybe we have been the party of no choice. We are a part of the choice. Right now we are almost done with the 156 members of parliament adoptions. We are adopting almost every week. So by 27th of this month, which is March, we'll be done with the adoptions.
Lusaka Central Patriotic Front aspiring Member of Parliament Charity Lumba has pledged to implement community-led development when adopted and subsequently elected into office. Business came to a standstill as Ms. Lumba led multitudes of her supporters to party offices at district, provincial levels as well as headquarters in the Central Business District Monday. Ms. Lumba, who has filed in her application for adoption, told journalists that she is happy with the support she has received from the people of Lusaka Central. She has since pledged to lobby for development for the central government as a way to repay them for their support.
It's been awesome, very humbling. I appreciate the great support I've received from the people of Lusaka Central from all the 4 wards. Very humbling, and I pledge indeed that once adopted, I shall do my best for the Lusaka Central constituency, its people and the community.
Interesting visuals there. At the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic, Zambian artists complained to government that they had no money and called on government to consider giving them loans to sustain their careers. On the 12th of August 2020, the Zambian government released 30 million kwacha as presidential arts empowerment through the National Arts Council. While many artists complained of lack of resources, a renowned Zambian artist, Roberto Banda, popularly known as Roberto, has found it befitting to donate part of his personal fortune, amounting to 500,000 kwacha, to Canon Group International, meant to support 75 youths to attend tertiary education. Let's look at this.
Education plays an important role in fostering the development of any country. While many youths in the country thrive to attain an education, finances have continued to be a hindrance that has led to many abandoning their dreams of becoming productive citizens. But despite the many challenges that COVID-19 pandemic has brought to the nation, a Zambian renowned artist, Robert Banda, popularly known as Roberto, has found it befitting to donate part of his personal fortune, amounting to 500,000 to Canon Group International, meant to support 75 youths to attend tertiary education.
The basis of it really has come from some of the messages we've been receiving in our inboxes, on our social media platforms, on Facebook, on Twitter. Even last week, we had people say, these are the qualifications I have, but I do not have resources to go to school. And the truth of the matter is there's so many people out there that are eager and are willing to learn, but they do not have the resources. And usually that is the biggest challenge that a lot of people, a lot of youths are facing in this country. There's so many parents and guardians that have children that are just staying at home. They want to go to school, but the resources are not available. And I thought, why help one person or two people when we can have a substantial amount of money that could be used by so many other people that could access these funds? And so for me, this is just a startup. We are not really saying, okay, you first have to be A or B for you to access these funds. It is open to anybody. And that is the reason why that we've partnered with Canon Group International to give access to as many people as possible.
Mr. Banda has since challenged other stakeholders to join forces and help vulnerable youths in the country to attain tertiary education, which he believes will help contribute positively to the well-being of the Zambian economy.
We empowering them financially, but we are empowering them via knowledge. So this is something that we're looking at getting to work on for as long as possible. And along the way, should God grant us the opportunity to help others along the way, I would gladly love to do that, because I don't think there should be a limit to one helping the other. So it's something that I'm really thankful and really proud and glad that Canon Group International we're partnering together to do this, and I hope to see more students apply, because this is a great opportunity for everybody.
And Canon Group International says every Zambian citizen who has a passion to attain a tertiary education either in Zambia or outside the country is welcome to apply for the scholarship.
Privilege of awareness, where on a regular basis or weekly basis or whatever it is, we'll be able to give actual feedback of the people that are actually being enrolled and the opportunities that they're getting. With regards to the degree of aid that they'll be getting, it's going to vary. So one thing that's going to, one of the biggest challenges that people have is access to the information about the university opportunities that are there, and basically the cost of actually processing themselves to be able to get those. So that's the first central point that we're looking at, to actually get people enrolled in these institutions. And then when they're enrolled, then we can then facilitate ways in which they can eventually be able to go there. But
an educated nation is a wealthy nation. It is therefore important that the youths with a passion to attain tertiary education take advantage of the opportunity to attain their dreams. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
You're watching Camnet News. Still to come as international and sports news. Stay with us.
You know I can take her a bit.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti for your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, man. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays out claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
Dr. Bigron, musaibala komutienda ukuni gift na land. Uchenkubeti uibise mojo basayone. Oh! Mwina moshi, nakuletera njinga. Latest ina ruvesi gear na mawaipa.
Difficult tidi ashiria njinga. Liam 19 pendefcon. Transport, we got it.
Nanga phone for communication. Ipunsana chizungu. Yeah, you see what I mean?
It's a camera, difficult.
It's communication. We got it. Indemoni! Powerful system ndimba X-Buzz.
Mufumile kukalale. Na mnaimo muli bakumushi. We got it. Yo Bikron, utole no leta nchemfule mungani. Get you watch pose and change. 1, 2, 3. Both of you. Kabala ngempang. Don't be stupid. We got it.
Zambia, your time of spiritual revival and awakening is now. Once again, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chilua invites the nation of Zambia to a 2-day conference on the order of Melchizedek with Dr. Francis Miles. Venue, the Healing Word Ministries International in Ibex Hill. Dates, 19th and 20th of March 2021. Saturday, 14 hours to 18 hours. Sunday, 09 hours to 12 hours. Make a date with us.
Still watching Camnet News, thank you for staying on. In international news, former Congo-Brazzaville rebel leader Pastor Ntumi, who took up arms after the re-election of President Denis Nguesso in the previous election in 2016, says the presidential election slated for Sunday 21st March must be held in peace, transparency and respect. Pastor Ntumi says the election must not be an opportunity to reawaken division. 7 candidates are running on the 21st March, including the incumbent President Nguesso. In other news, Ireland has temporarily suspended the rollout of AstraZeneca coronavirus vaccine following reports of blood clots in adults who received the shot in Norway. Irish Health Minister Stephen Donnelly said it in a tweet on Sunday that the decision was based on new information from Norway that emerged late last night. Here is a roundup.
Congolese Pastor Ntumi called on Saturday for peace in the presidential election scheduled for this Sunday, March 21st, in Congo-Brazzaville. The former rebel leader, who took up arms after the re-election of President Denis Sassou Nguesso in the previous election in March 2016, told the media that his National Council of Republicans political party will neither be presenting nor supporting any candidate.
Le Conseil national des républicains convaincu que la démocratie doit suivre.
The National Council of Republicans, convinced that democracy must follow its normal course, believes that the presidential elections must be held in peace, transparency, freedom, and respect for the rules of democracy.
Respect des règles du jeu démocratique. Elle ne doit pas être l'occasion de réveiller.
And should not be the occasion to awaken the old demons of division, hatred, settling of scores, as a few years ago.
Le règlement de compte comme il y a de cela quelques années.
7 candidates are up for Sunday's vote, including the incumbent President Sassou Nguesso at 77 years old, with 36 in power.
Ça, c'est faire l'inverse.
Ireland's decision to call a temporary halt to the use of the Oxford-AstraZeneca vaccine could have far-reaching consequences. The country's immunisation authority pointed to a safety alert raised this week by the Norwegian Medicines Agency after 4 healthcare workers suffered serious blood clotting events within 14 days of receiving the AstraZeneca jab. Denmark and Iceland have raised similar concerns, with the ripple effect extending to Bulgaria and as far afield as Thailand. The Irish move was described as precautionary. We will continue to monitor the situation, and if we can be satisfied that these events are coincidental and not caused by this vaccine, we will reassess the situation. The UK-based AstraZeneca has defended its vaccine, saying that safety data collected with 17 million doses administered so far shows no evidence of increased risk of pulmonary embolisms or thrombosis. Pending further investigation, the European Medicines Agency says the benefits of the vaccine outweigh the risks, and the World Health Organization says its rollout should continue.
It really doesn't mean that it is potentially unsafe. It has been tested widely. There have been no reported problems beyond what you would normally expect with a vaccine, with any vaccine. And really, the occurrence of these thrombotic events, these blood clots, is no greater in the vaccinated population than it is in the unvaccinated population. So quite why regulators in these countries have taken their decision beyond being extremely cautious is not really clear.
Inevitably now, concerns will linger. The Oxford-AstraZeneca vaccine has been beset by problems including political disputes and delivery delays, now add safety concerns. It's important to note that no one is alleging a conclusive link between the vaccine and these blood clotting events. But the longer that doubt is allowed to persist, the worse the effect on trust and therefore the overall vaccine rollout. Jonah Hull, Al Jazeera, London.
We now focus our attention to sports news. Zamfood Sports reports that NAPSA Stars opponents in Wednesday's CAF Confederation Cup match Day 2 encounter JSK has arrived in the country. JSK, jetted in on Sunday evening, arrived at Kenneth Kaunda International Airport at 21 hours aboard the chartered flight from Algeria with 11 hours flight time. The Algerian outfit is lodged at Protea Hotel, and according to their Facebook page, they are happy with the facilities. NAPSA Stars will be looking to get their first win of the group, having suffered a 2-0 loss on match Day 1 at the hands of defending champions RS. Meanwhile, the Canary is looking to build on their 1-0 win over Cameroonian outfit Cotton Sport on match Day 1. Well, that's where we wrap it up. But before we go, let's just look at the headlines once again. Police constable disputes human rights report over the killing of 2 Zambian citizens. Government assures transparency in the ongoing police recruitment. Agriculture Union urges government to lift the maize ban in view of a projected bumper harvest. In international news, Congo-Brazzaville ex-rebel chief calls for peaceful and transparent elections. In sports news, NAPSA Stars opponents JS jet in ahead of Wednesday's clash. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, and it's coming from Proverbs 13, verse 5 to 6, and it reads, "The righteous hate lying, but the wicked act disgustfully and disgracefully. Righteousness guards peoples of integrity, but wickedness undermines the sinner." Well, that's all we had for you on the desk tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Sharon Kalimbula. Remember to observe the COVID-19 health guidelines. Let's break the cycle of the virus. Good night.